Hey guys, Mergany here, back with another video. And guys, just very quick apology for having basically skipped almost the whole last month, at least 2 or 3 weeks. It's just because, as you can see, it's a whole fucking mess out here. I just recently moved into my new apartment, so I was extremely busy. The apartment is empty. I had to figure out, kind of everything. So yeah, apologies for that. But what I just mainly wanted to say was that over the last weeks, I had the chance to just realized the fact that I really don't think I'm gonna be going back to Diablo 4. Now, what do I mean by that? I mean that I think that, as I said many times before, Diablo 4 is a game that has pretty good bones. But right now, there has been a little bit too many ups and downs in the development, and at this point I have to admit to myself, and I think we all have to admit to ourselves, that sorry for the bomb, but I mean, I guess everybody knows at this point, but Blizzard is kind of dead. I wanted to try to, to stay in this good mindset, and I wanted to believe that, based on what I was looking at, based on the fact that the setting was dark again, and that there were some good signals for me that Diablo 4 could be a good game again, that we could go back, if not to the glory of the good old days, at least to something along those lines. But we're not there yet. Truth is, the game is basically in what seems to be an alpha state at its best. And I'm not really willing to, spend my time on a game that feels incomplete. I think, yeah, it's got good bones. The gameplay feels good. And by that I mean that it's polished in the way that your character moves in a nice way. But that's kind of it. There's been way too many problems up until now, I think. So yeah, just not worth my time. Especially when there's just so many good games around. And I think that um, we gotta put our as gamers, we gotta put our time uh, and money into good games. It's very important that companies realize that they just can't be releasing unfinished games just for a quick buck. And I think many of them have been on this trend now for many years, many companies, I mean. And it just has to stop. I really think it has to stop. I don't think that every new game that comes out needs to be on online multiplayer MMORPG with a fucking battle pass and all that bullshit. If anything, I'm tired of it. I think there's a time and place for that. I think there are games that definitely benefit from it, but at what cost, right? Like, I think if we look at games like Fortnite, for example, that's a game that goes on the battle pass system. It's a game that goes through constant changes, and I know that the community has been sometimes happy, sometimes not happy about these changes. But one thing I know for certain is that those poor fucking developers are like strained to the extreme, because they basically gotta revolutionize the whole thing every 2 seconds, basically. Um, so there's positives and there's negatives, of course, from every approach. But my personal, uh, you know, just my idea is that it just give me a good game, right? Just make a good game. Don't design it in a way that it feels like you're creating frustrating systems, or rather that you're designing systems to keep me engaged, that in reality they don't keep me engaged. They just make me frustrated. uh, this didn't just happen with Diablo 4, it also happened with a lot of other games nowadays. It's the same with World of Warcraft. It's kind of the same to an extent with Call of Duty games, where, heck, at this point, even Call of Duty games and the battle pass from Call of Duty give you enough point to get another battle pass after. Diablo 4 doesn't even do that. It's like the level of disrespect is just absolutely like reaching insanity levels. And I understand that there needs to be money coming in and incentives for game devs to keep working on a game, and that this is just the world we live in. It's like a very capitalistic society where basically these companies are run by money, of course, and I get it. I fucking get it, but I don't necessarily have to like it or respect it or... Hell, I think games should be made by developers, not by higher-ups bothering them to and insist on putting in systems that just don't work. And I feel that right now, the whole of gaming is basically saturated by this. It's saturated by companies and people that are concerned with basically money. You know, their only job is to make the investors happy. And they are kind of like always, I think, bickering with the developers, with the managers, or with whoever in the companies that wanted to make those games. And they're constantly fighting and having these issues of, oh, it needs to be like this, or it needs to be like that. And I think this just saturates the environment to a point where just games are not made anymore in the right way. And I think that right now we had another really good example of a big win for the community, which is Baldur's Gate 3. And I mean, that's a game that took years to build, and it was in early access for many years, so you had a lot of feedback from the community. But basically, we're talking about an incredibly small team that was just working very hard to build the base, but just the best game they could, right? So it took time, and they were kind of like, it took a certain level of relaxation, I think. Hey, Chakama. So yeah, I mean, they didn't have anyone running after them. That's my point, right? Like, my point being, they did not, I think they were not overly stressed by big money or big company telling them what to do and telling them that the game should be something that it was not supposed to be, right? They set out with a very simple goal, which is not simple at all, but a simple goal of, let's just work our ass off on making the best game that we can. It's an RPG game. It's based on Dungeons and Dragons. These are the rules. Let's make it as fun as possible. Let's get the feedback from the gamers. Let's get the feedback from the community, and let's just work together to make it as good as we can. And this, which should absolutely be the norm today, it just isn't for some reason, right? Like, more than one reason perhaps. And I think like we're all here kind of trying to figure out of the top of our fucking heads, like, oh, what's going on? Why is it like this? Why is it the way that it is? Why is it that companies, multi-million-dollar companies with huge staff and just like infinite amount of resources, how is it that they just don't manage to bring it home, right? So we can be here, we can wonder what the hell is going on, and we can talk about it all day if we want, but at the end of the day, I think we just gotta put our attention and time spent in just good games. I think over time, if we just insist on only playing good games, maybe something slowly, perhaps, I hope so, I hope I'm not coping here, will change. So I'm not really sure where we're gonna be going forward. I think Baldur's Gate 3, big success, been playing it, already had it in early access. I actually recorded a video of it some days ago, while, even though I was very busy, but basically the audio and the video were completely out of sync, which is why I have a new webcam now. And so, yeah, basically that fucked up the whole 2-hour recording. So, I don't know. Let me know if you're interested in that, if you're interested in a gameplay session of Baldur's Gate. I think at this point there's way too many people playing the game, so maybe I'm a little bit late for that. But if you're interested, I'd be willing to do it, of course. I love it. I've been playing the game, really having a good time with it. Or, for sure, I'm going to be waiting for Starfield. I really am curious to see what's it going to be, you know, new game from Bethesda. Hopefully no online battle pass bullshit, so maybe we're gonna get a half decent game. The game looks nice, but I'm not on the hype train. I'm trying to stay calm. We'll see what it is. But yeah, I'm definitely curious to see that. Maybe we're gonna play that, and going forward, for sure, I think I'm gonna be talking more about these happenings in the gaming community. It's something that has always been very dear to my heart, and I think I want to be trying to help push for overall better games in general and less of this battle pass modern gaming bullshit. Anyway, that was my 2 cents on the last weeks in gaming and in RPGs in general. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you liked what you saw or heard, please consider subscribing. And yeah, that's it. We're going out. Cheers.